Why do we think the way we think? Why do we do what we do or don't do? Why are we the way we are? All of this is shaped, driven, or influenced by different factors. Our Stone Age brain, our environment, our family, how we grew up, our emotions, just to name a few. Most of it happens completely unconsciously, automatically, in fractions of a second. We don't even notice it. At least not if we don't take a closer look. That's also why it often feels like we are our thoughts and emotions, like it's all inborn, like that's just how we are and we can't change it. But as I've mentioned before, that's not really true. So yes, our thoughts, emotions and actions, our behavior are largely driven unconsciously and automatically. But with the help of psychology, we can absolutely take a closer look and make these processes conscious. We can begin to understand why we do what we do or don't do what we actually want to do. Why we feel the way we feel. Why we think the way we think. And ultimately even why we are the way we are. In addition to the factors already mentioned, I want to introduce 3 very common unconscious strategies. Basically patterns or tendencies in behavior that often guide us. Let's call them avoidance, endurance, and compensation. Let's look at an example. And again, this doesn't have to happen this way. It can develop like this, but it doesn't have to. So many people probably know this from childhood. Parents being stressed or irritated for whatever reason, and then reacting harshly, coldly or dismissively toward that child. If a child experiences this regularly, they might, again, not always, but possibly develop certain beliefs about themselves. As a child, you don't understand that your parents are stressed or maybe struggle with emotional regulation. Instead, you take it personally. You assume it has something to do with you. So the child might develop thoughts like, there's something wrong with me, I don't deserve to be treated with care, I'm not lovable. And again, this all happens unconsciously. It's not like the child sits down and logically analyzes what's true or not. So, what kinds of strategies might develop from these situations and the thoughts attached to them. Let's start with avoidance. The child might learn to withdraw in such situation, to become quiet, sad, and avoid conflict or even people altogether. Over time, the child might start avoiding the parents in advance as soon as they sense tension, even before anything has actually happened. As an adult, this can show up as avoiding conflict in relationships, friendships, or at work, avoiding closeness or even relationships altogether. So that's the avoidance strategy. Let's go to endurance. The child might learn to simply endure this situation. It hurts, but what can a child really do against powerful parents? Maybe it will pass, maybe it will get better. As an adult, this can lead to staying far too long in unhealthy, devaluing or unfulfilling relationships, tolerating bad jobs or toxic environments, because what can I do anyway? That's the endurance strategy. Let's go to compensation. The child might conclude, I must be the problem, and then try to avoid pain by becoming perfect, trying to do everything right, avoiding mistakes, being overly careful. But how realistic is it for a child to never make mistakes? Not very. So the child might try even harder, be more careful, think ahead more, control everything. As an adult, you can probably imagine where that leads. Another form of compensation, if a child feels unlovable, they might try to earn love through performance. They achieve something in school, in sports, at home. They take responsibility, they help others, not because they feel loved for who they are, but to compensate and receive love, recognition and validation. As an adult, this can show up as a strong drive to achieve, chasing good grades, career success, choosing demanding jobs or roles with responsibility, helping others excessively, valuing status symbols. To sum it up, as children we are exposed to countless challenging situations. If they happen repeatedly, we develop unconsciously certain beliefs and assumptions. And based on those, we develop strategies to cope with pain. Avoidance, endurance, compensation. And the key point is we often carry these strategies into adulthood and keep using them in similar situations. And often that's highly unhelpful. But at the same time, it makes total sense. How could we act differently if we are not even aware of it? As children, we had very limited options to deal with difficult situations. As adults, we have a choice. We can become aware of what happened back then, how it shaped our current behavior, even if it no longer makes sense today. And often, it's exactly those patterns that hold us back from living a fulfilling life. The tragic part is, if you have avoided conflict for years or decades, you're naturally not very good at handling conflict. So you keep avoiding it and reinforce the pattern. You maintain the very thing that limits you. Same with endurance. If you've always tolerated bad situations, you may never have learned how to change them. So you stay and reinforce that pattern too. And yes, working on these things as an adult can be exhausting. But maybe it helps to understand you weren't born with these strategies. You developed them at a time when you didn't have many other options to deal with your environment. This is where psychology can help to explore what experiences you had as a child, what beliefs you developed about yourself, others, and the world, and which strategies came out of that. Avoidance, endurance, compensation. And from there you can decide as an adult, do you want to develop new, more helpful strategies? It may be uncomfortable, but it's possible.